everybody, this is Positive Benzo Withdrawal, and I wanted to make a video today because I am in a kind of wavy place. The symptoms are livable, definitely. I mean, I'm used to it. I'm used to being here. I've had periods of time where the waves are just constant, and I've really adapted. Like, I think humans are pretty amazing creatures. We adapt to distress and we create lives around really, really hard conditions, and I think I've just done that in some way. So one thing that's up for me right now is that I'm premenstrual, so my hormones are just all wickety-whack, and I noticed in the last couple of months that my waves would just get really bad during this time of the month. And so it's really presenting in this super negative way right now. Like, I'm super irritable, I'm getting into fights with my loved ones, making everybody around me wrong. I mean, just like the typical premenstrual stuff. But then I've got the physical component that comes with it too, which is like, you know, just feeling the wave of the benzo withdrawal more than I was a couple of days ago, basically. So that's meant like, you know, waking up shaking, sweating at night. My sleep's actually fortunately been pretty good, but it just means like feeling kind of nauseous. Oh God, it's so, for me, it's like I see people on YouTube being able to distinguish one symptom from another. I have a really hard time distinguishing one symptom from another. All I know is that I feel like shit. The basic premise is that I just don't feel good. I feel wavy. And I know people have asked me like, well, how exactly do you feel? Like, what is it like? And I'm like, there's lists online. Go look at the lists. I just know I don't feel good. Some things that I'm not feeling right now that I can feel in a wave would be like burning sensations all over my body. I have had a bit of burning when I wake up in the morning. I also tried to eat a piece of pumpkin pie, which was like gluten-free, lightly sweetened, and got a lot of like burning in my mouth and numbness in my nose. Things like that. I've actually only had an apple today, and it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and thought about going out for lunch with my partner. Actually went inside the restaurant, sat down, looked at the menu, and this was like a gourmet, organic, farm to table kind of place. And I was like, man, these just menu options are way too esoteric for me. There's like too many ingredients, too many spices. They're trying to make this way too gourmet. And I ended up just walking out and being like, let's go home. I'm going to have some oatmeal. It's like, I definitely am at the place right now where I can only eat what I absolutely know I can handle, which is like an apple, oatmeal, eggs, probably some vegetables like cabbage and kale sauteed with garlic and coconut oil and some salt. And that's probably just about as much as I can handle. I can't handle spices. I can't really handle going out to restaurants because I think they're cooking the food in ways that, I don't know, somehow I just get sick, like even if it's a really healthy place. So yeah, just kind of trying to make it today as best as I can. I am down to 0.06 Klonopin. I made a cut a couple of days ago, and so that feels good. Like I took a picture of, I've been taking photos of what I actually am, you know, taking in pill form every week or so, just to kind of give myself a reference point, and also to share it with friends and loved ones. Like, this is where I'm at, yay. And that's good. Like, it feels really good to know that I'm down this low. And on the other side, I have a lot of fear about, you know, what's next, like after I get off of this stuff, because I've heard so many stories and accounts, and I have a close friend who's been off 14 months, and so many people aren't doing good. They're not doing good, or they got worse. I'm like, oh crap, you know, it would be really good to hear the stories of people who got off and maybe had a month to 3 months and then they were fine. Like, that would be cool. Or even people who went so slow that by the time they were done, there was like no symptoms left. And I actually created this channel because I want this to be a kind of positivity hub. I want to create something where people can feel positive, because there's so much out there that's just really, really hard. And we need to hear those hard stories, because that's the truth. And we need to disseminate that information, get it out there. Hopefully people are watching to never, get on this to begin with. And, when we have any kind of lawsuits, maybe in the future, we'll have all this archival footage and accounts of people's stories. That's so important. And I also think we need to have a place where we kind of can drop some positivity and be like, this is what worked for me, and I did this in a wave, and maybe it didn't make it better, but at least mentally I felt stronger. And that's important to me. So I'll mention a couple of things I did today. I am in 12-step recovery, and I really love it. I love the particular recovery group that I'm in. I won't necessarily say which one that is, but I feel like it's a really safe space. I bring my knitting with me and I just sit, and everyone knows what I'm going through, and people are super loving and supportive. And I get to share, like, for 3 minutes, just kind of check in. This is how I'm doing. This is a really good community, really good people. I bring my knitting and it's super grounding. And in fact, I'm kind of at a place where I feel like I need to start going back to a meeting a day, because I'm, kind of hit some turbulence in my taper and in my life. So meetings for me are just a godsend. And I know that a lot of people on, benzo tapers, or have used benzos are not addicts. And I completely get that it's not a place for everybody to go. Well, there's lots of 12-step recovery. It doesn't have to be around addiction or alcoholism. There's tons out there. However, for myself, I do have a history, like years and years ago, of more self-inflicted addiction, like street drugs. And so I really qualify to be in this space. So it's become a tool for me that's just so important. A couple days ago, I was hanging out with a friend who's also in Benzo Withdrawal, and we were watching a kind of creepy movie, which was not a good idea, and I started feeling kind of paranoid, and I haven't felt that in a while. And so one skill that I used that I learned in DBT was to grab some ice out of the freezer, put it in a Ziploc bag, and hold onto the ice. And you can use ice, or you can use like a cold pack. And something about the temperature change in your body is like instantly grounding. And it totally worked. First, I actually got out of the house and I went and kind of like walked. And if anyone's done like hallucinogens, it felt like I was starting to trip, like, and getting a little paranoid, which is something I feel like happens with this withdrawal, is like the derealization can just get trippy and weird. And so I took a couple of breaths of fresh air, I put my feet on the ground, and then I went and got the ice and I held on to it, and it passed. It actually passed. It passed really quickly. Went back to my knitting. We didn't watch that movie anymore, and I was fine for the rest of the night. And then today it's just eating really clean, like eating at home. Instead of going to a restaurant, coming home, I'm going to make my own food at home and probably just lay down. I'm super tired. I got 8 hours last night, which is freaking amazing. Woohoo! For 8 hours. Wow. That's a miracle. I got 8 hours sleep and I'm super exhausted. So just being really mindful about that. Like, well, then I'm just going to lie down all day. Hey, it's the weekend. I don't have my child with me. He's with his dad. I don't have to work today. I'm going to lay down and watch some movies and continue knitting and hang out with my partner. So that's the positive stuff. And that's the stuff that gives me hope, and that's what keeps me going. So hopefully, potentially something that I said just now might stir up some hope in you. I'd probably go for a walk at some point today. We live in a beautiful area, and I'm part of a Facebook group where people post their photos of the walks that they've taken, and there's people from all over the world. It's just beautiful. So that's a really positive upswing for me as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment. The comments have been great. Subscribe to my channel. I'll subscribe to yours if you're also a YouTuber. And lots of love and compassion to all you Benzo warriors out there. Just keep fighting the good fight, and we're going to make this through. All right, y'all. Have a good day.